What's up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take MLB DFS podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK013, and I am joined once again by the triple OG of the Wise Take Nation, Mr. Patio Joe. You can find him on Twitter at Patio Joe. Ref, Joey, my man, what's happening?
Not much, man. It's a late Thursday night. We got a big 14-game slate for Friday. Just chilling. We were just been hanging out, talking a little wrestling stories. Hanging out. Yeah. That's all we've been doing.
Yeah, man. Just chilling like a villain. Had a little staff meeting. Thought it went awesome. Expects wonderful things to continue for the nation. And today was a good day. Paulie D having himself another big night, staying hot. I'm having a good night. Not as good as him, but good night. Shout out to Paulie with the Yankee stack. He was all over the Yankees today. He liked Houston too, who also hit a bunch of home runs. The nation stays hot. Yankees were his number one stack. I wrote the GPP article today. Montas was my favorite pitcher on the slate. Him and that Miami kid, which was a little more obvious, so I'm not gonna toot my horn for that one. But Montas only 20% in DraftKings, man. Over 30 DraftKings points already. Maybe going for more with a low pitch count. All in all, the nation stays hot, man. So just another glorious day in Wise Take world. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah, they pulled Montas.
Oh, they pulled him?
Yeah, so he's now FAM is or he's training is in.
Okay.
It's a 1-1 tie.
All right, fair enough. I got what I needed from him. At least he can't lose any points, right? Like, I'll take it. But another fairly large slate, Joe. That seems to be like this week's trend for flavor of the week has been large slates because we have a 14-game slate on a Friday. Once again, we've got a lot. I think some of the pricing, I know on DraftKings is kind of strange. Some of the pricing on FanDuel makes us, I think, anticipate certain levels of chalk. So we'll get right into it. Let's talk about SP1s and cash games. Joey, what do you think?
SP1s and cash games, I think there's three guys you're going to consider. One, up at the top, it's Chris Sale or Trevor Bauer on FanDuel and DraftKings up at the top. And then also on FanDuel, I think if you didn't want to pay right up the top with those two, you can go down with Aaron Nola. Those are the three guys I'm going to be looking at. Sale has got the Blue Jays who just strike out a lot. They're in the top 10 or 15 who strike out the most. So he's been awesome the last month. He's been leading the league in strikeout percentage in the last 30 days. So that's just a great play. And then Trevor Bauer is facing the Tigers, who the last 30 days have been striking out 28% of the time, which is almost 2% more than any other team in the major league. So Bauer's coming off a complete game shutout where he struck out, 8 to 10 guys. So those are the two guys up at the top I think everybody's going to have a piece of on DK, one of those two. And then on FanDuel, it's going to be very, very tempting to fade both of those and to go to Aaron Nola because Nola is facing these Marlins and they've just come off of like a 2-week series against these St. Louis Cardinals where they've scored probably a combined total of like 3 runs against their starting pitching. So I just feel like we have one of the best pitchers, one of the top 15 or 20 pitchers in the game pitching tomorrow at home. He's going to at a great price on FanDuel at 8.7. I mean, it'll bleed right into what our SB2 option on DK is going to be an absolute lock. There's nobody else to even talk about, I think, unless you want to double pay down and you just go with Nola at 8K on DK and pair him with Bauer or Sale. That's what I would do on DK. And then on FanDuel, you have a choice. It'll be a little bit more, but it's going to be between those three tomorrow that I'm going to be having in my article. I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm with you, man. On DraftKings, it seems like on a 2-pitcher site, you have Nola at 8K. So you have him there, and you don't want to waste that. So like he's the obvious cash option against the Marlins. It's just a matter of SP1 or SP2, and the SP1 options are pretty elite, so you don't want to be behind from the people that do pay up with Chris Sale or Bauer or even Walker Buehler. So I think you take one of those three guys. Sale is the preferred option, and you pair them with Nola. Buehler is going to be the easiest to do that with because Nola is 8K. It's cheap for Nola, but it's not cheap for an SP2. It's just cheap for Nola. So I'm with you. Nola is the guy that's obvious. It's just a matter of which one of those guys you want to pair him with. I prefer to go somewhere up top. Talk to me about tournaments, Joe. What about tournaments?
Tournaments, I think, Walker Buehler kind of leads the list to me if you want to pivot off of Sale or Bauer. He's facing the Rockies, who just strike out a lot on the road. He is coming. He just feels like it's a pitcher that is just on the rise and is pitching better and better every start. I'm just kind of calling up his game logs right now, but Buehler, the Dodgers need a decent start from him tomorrow too, because they've had some bullpen problems. Rich Hill was out. Dick Milk yesterday. So, and then today was another bullpen game with Urias, and then they brought in Chagua in the second or third inning. So this bullpen has been worked. So they're going to need Buehler to go 7 or 8 innings, which he has in his last 3 starts. He's gone 7 or 8 innings, averaged about 8 or 9 strikeouts in those last 3 starts. And now he gets Colorado, who, like I said, strikes out a lot on the road. He's faced them at home, so in Coors, so you can't really take anything from that. But yeah, Buehler's probably the top guy that I would pivot to up at the top. And then I think if there's another guy I would look at, he always seems to be to screw up when he's chalky. But tomorrow, Strasburg, I just think will fly so under the radar because he has not been very good. And the Braves have been so hot. And I just think when it comes to an ownership level, you're going to get him really, really low tomorrow. So those are the 2 guys with the top for SP1 I might think of, besides obviously Sale or Bauer.
It's interesting with Strasburg. He has struggled, but as far as tournaments, right now, let me get this out the way. Walker Buehler looks like my favorite in tournaments also. Chris Sale, phenomenal, but I can tell you right now, 12K for Chris Sale, it's going to be tough, especially if you're pairing him with a Nola. So unless you have a cheaper guy, it could be tougher. So Buehler, you got the Rockies are projected for 3 runs right now, slate low, or second lowest aside from Sale. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Buehler's been on fire, man. They're letting him go. They're letting him pitch. We're all afraid of Dodger pitchers, but secretly their starting pitching staff is averaging more than most other starting pitching staffs. As far as innings, from their starting pitcher. So he's my favorite, but Strasburg is the one that's ooh, that's interesting because exactly what you said. The Braves have been red hot. Nobody wants to go there. Nobody played DeGrom. Granted, there was weather that day, but I don't think a ton of people were going to play DeGrom anyway that day because of how hot the Braves were. And going back to last season, Strasburg has not seen the Braves this year. But going back to last season, in 2018, he did see them 4 times. And his DraftKings scores were 35, 24, 4. So there was a bad game in there. And then 32.95. So a lot of domination mixed in with one bad game. So I think that is a very interesting take, Joe. And in the midst of this hot streak, DeGrom dominated them. DeGrom is obviously phenomenal. Strasburg has been struggling, but I think that's a very interesting SP1 option. What about cheaper guys, Joe? Are you still it's really hard to get off Nola on DraftKings, but just in general, FanDuel, DraftKings, Paxton's also 8-1 on DraftKings. We have some interesting price guys. Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Yeah, there's some other guys I think that, if on FanDuel or DraftKings, if you're paying down, that you can look at tomorrow. There's nobody on FanDuel right now. There's nobody below. Let me see. I would probably stop. Maybe 7K is where I would basically stop. Everybody below 7K is just not in play for me tomorrow and what I probably want to attack. But Eric Lauer at 7K in a good pitcher's park against a team that we know don't hit lefties very well in the Pirates. They were worse earlier in the year than they are now, but I still would be, if you're paying down, don't be expecting much, but I don't mind it. Joe Musgrove, the other side, he's a little bit high priced for what his performance has been as of late. So I thought might be getting him a little bit cheaper on FanDuel at 7,500. That's a little much. On DraftKings, he is 5,500. He's way more tempting on DraftKings going against the Padres, who we all know strike out a lot against righties. So I think that would be. I like him a lot more on DK at 5.5 because that's just dirt cheap, and at some point everybody becomes playable if he's in a decent matchup and they're that cheap. The other guys I like a little bit higher up would be maybe Griffin Canning. He's facing the Cardinals, and I feel like right now just anybody against the Cardinals, just throw them. They're not going to kill you.
That's what we've been doing. So working out.
So it's weird. So I don't mind that. But yeah, those are. Oh, Martin Perez is another guy I don't mind either. I'm not. The rose is a little bit off. The bloom is a little bit off the rose. From the beginning of the season where he came out just absolutely like he was, reborn. But I think tomorrow facing Kansas City in another decent ballpark at 7,800 on FanDuel is not bad. He shows the strikeout upside earlier in the year. So, and he's facing a team that in the Royals who have been striking out a lot lately. So I could buy that too, but that's about it. That's all I have.
Yeah, I think you could definitely make cases for them. I think Paxton is definitely interesting. It's not a great park for pitching, and it's the Astros, a team that doesn't strike out a ton. They also got Altuve back, so they're starting to get a little healthier, but I can't help but have interest in Paxton at 8,100. And in builds where you are looking to load up on bats, the thought of Paxton and Nola, which I'm sure will end up being a somewhat popular combination in tournaments, I'm tempted. 8-1 for Paxton, massive upside. And I know he's looked a little shaky since coming back from injury, but it's tough. Paxton, and I want to look into the velocities, all that umpires, but Nola and Paxton, it's just you're looking at that like, wow, like if I don't play those guys, then I better be willing to stack against them because they're going to be very, very popular. That's just how I look at it. But let's go over to some hitting, Joe.
Wait, I have one last thing on Paxton. Yeah. I think we could draw on last year him in Seattle pitching against the Astros. I think that's something we maybe need to look at. Like he had. It looks like he had
a streak where he dominated them, but his last two starts against them didn't go very well.
Yeah.
But he did have a little run there where he just dominated them.
April 16th, he pitched 6 innings, 7 strikeouts. He won 2-1. This was last year. June 5th, 7 2/3, 6 strikeouts. He won that game. And then July 30th, 7 innings, shutout, 8 strikeouts. Did that one, and then August 9th, he gave 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. So it wasn't even that bad.
Right.
So he had 3 good starts and one not so good. So looking at a closer look, I think you can. Paxton does come into the GPP discussion tomorrow because he's seen those hitters before and he's obviously has some success against them. So yeah, I'm with it. Even though this Astros team is a little different.
Yeah, no, it definitely is different. They're starting to get a little healthy, and just in general, it's different. Maybe Paxton had like some sort of edge on those guys. We don't know because they've always played when he's faced them. So the price is low though. The pricing is kind of wonky on DraftKings. So we'll see what happens. Let's go over to the bats, Joe. Talk to me about some of the bats that sent out to you. Some of the teams that sent out to you the most.
Yeah, so we were talking earlier how you're not going to be able to pay up for Sale or such like that because he's so much. The thing about this slate right now, at least, there's not an abundance of really, really good spots I want to attack tomorrow. First off, I like the Rangers implied for 6.3 runs. The wind is going to be blowing in we like it in that ballpark. It's going to be very humid, 94 degrees. They're facing Reynaldo Lopez, who couldn't get Paulie D out. So, I just think that the Rangers, they'll probably be one of the most popular teams on the slate, obviously. So it's pretty simple. I was doing a little digging in. Asdrubal Cabrera absolutely profiles the best against Lopez and everything he throws. So I don't mind him. The thing is that they're not that expensive tomorrow. So you could get a decent Rangers stack with Sale or Bauer on FanDuel. So that's going to be a pretty popular build. Next team I'll talk about would probably be the Boston Red Sox against Trent Thornton. We know he's good against the teams he should be good against, but then against the teams that can hit the ball, he's not very good. So I will be looking at the Red Sox more. I think that they're back at home, so I like that. You think you also have to take a look at the Angels just because they've been hot. And Waka is just not what he used to be. And if you want to go back to the Twins tomorrow, they're facing Jacob Junis. The wind is blowing out in Kansas City. They're gonna get hot eventually. So I like them too. And then the one team I think that really, really, hopefully people won't get to, but I think they're gonna get on event just because John Means just went on the IL. So we're gonna have a bullpen game tomorrow with the Orioles, it looks like, and we all know the Orioles bullpen is god-awful. So the Mariners, and even though that lineup isn't very good, I definitely like the Mariners at what they bring tomorrow and that opportunity to score a lot of runs against the bad bullpen of the Orioles.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that especially for pricing, Seattle's one of the cheaper stacks, and you're going to need some cheap stacks. You mentioned Texas, who we can talk about again in a second, but Seattle will be very low owned. You'd mentioned John Means. You said he went to the IL, right? So yeah, bullpen game from them. That sounds awesome. Maybe you'll see some Dan Straley, who's just been automatic. It's been like automatic when that dude comes in. So I do like Seattle. I think that their lineup is not awesome, like great, but there's going to be a lot of lefties. There's going to be a balance of some of these, power hitting righties. So I'm definitely cool with Seattle. As far as some of the more obvious ones, I would agree the Rangers should be the chalk tomorrow against Renato Lopez. I think that a 6.3 projected run total in a hitting environment with 94 degrees, 51% humidity. Looks pretty juicy, so I'm sure that'll be the chalk. You mentioned the Rangers have been one of the coldest offenses in the game lately, and that's the reason their prices are down. They've missed Joey Gallo terribly, and in general haven't played all that great. I think Willie Calhoun is going to help. Rougned Odor seems like he's in the midst of one of his streaks, but the Rangers, it's hard not to like them as like a top sack per se, which does make the Red Sox interesting from a pivot perspective. We saw the Angels put up a ton of runs on the bullpen of Toronto. Thornton has been decent, but if the Red Sox do get to him early and it comes down to a bullpen game, you've got a 5.7 projected team that's going to have very little ownership. So I think that's a good point. I expect everybody to go to Texas, maybe even the White Sox, and that could leave the Red Sox with some pretty low ownership in tournaments, but very hard to get off of the Rangers. Any other offenses, Joe, that kind of stand out or no?
I was kind of maybe looking at the D-backs at home against Samardzija.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
5.4 implied run total. He just started against them May 17th in Arizona, five and a third, five hits, 3 walks, 3 earned runs. So, I mean, he didn't pitch very good, but they didn't crush him either. But they're just coming off of a series where the Dodgers, pretty much raped their bullpen. So their bullpen's pretty much taxed the last few days too. So I don't mind these D-backs tomorrow against Samardzija in a good ballpark. We like their lineup. D-backs are a wise take favorite, so I like them.
Yeah, man, I'm with it, man. I'm with it. I think it's a pretty good slate. I think there's a lot to like. You even have what's also interesting is the Angels against Waka. Waka has not been good. He has not been good.
That's what I said. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Angels have been hot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's a big park boost for them. For Oakland. It wasn't Toronto, but this also it's gonna be pretty humid. A lot of offenses to consider. The Twins, you had asked before, and I don't know the answer. Are people going to go back to the Twins? I don't know, but they've seemed to have cooled off. Jake Junis has been one of their better pitchers this year, so it's a lot of decisions to make. But it's going to be pretty chalky. Like, the pitching is going to be pretty chalky, I think. So you're going to either have to get different with the hitters, or you fade the chalky pitchers. That's what it comes down to, I think.
What about the Yankees tomorrow?
They've been hot, man. They've been really hot. I know Peacock has been pretty good, and typically you want to pick, Peacock, you want to pick on them with lefties, but in general, the Yankees are just a team that I think you just have to keep playing when they get hot like this, and they're starting to really get hot. Like, today was just awesome. We'll look at the weather. We'll see if the dew points are there. Today, the dew points were like in the low 70s, which is elite. So we'll have to see what they look like tomorrow. But yeah, the Yankees, I'm down. They're red hot. That's just how it's going. They're winning us a lot of money right now.
Didn't Paulie say that the Yankees hit the sinker really well?
Yes, that they do.
Yeah, well, the Peacock throws almost 50% sinkers to righties.
Makes sense.
So he's basically fastball slider to righties.
Yeah, it's his deal.
Oh.
I mean, it sounds good to me. Like I said, the Yankees are playing well right now. They're not a team that I would want to, pick on at all. And I am definitely down to stack them. And yes, they do mash sinkers pretty well. But that's going to do it for the slate breakdown. At this point, I'm going to remind everybody, if you haven't checked us out at ystake.com, make sure you get over there, get yourself a day pass, try us out. Try out our content for one full day of MLB access. You'll get access to all the articles, the Y stream, which is a live stream we do 2 hours before lock. Tomorrow it is Patio Joe and Boy Genius, Dr. Cam, G, Trip Threes, Father Son Show. But yeah, come hang out with the nation. Come join us. Only thing you don't get with the day pass is the Slack chat. Slack chat is available for monthly memberships or higher. I do recommend that after you try it out, you see what it is, you do sign up for monthly pass or higher, get into our Slack chat, chop it up with the members, chop it up with the other analysts, become a better DFS player. That's what we do, what we're here for. But yeah, check us out. Joe, Cash Game Core.
Cash Game Core, let's go with on DK, let's just go with Sale on both.
Yeah.
And then Sale and Nola on DK. Yeah, that's good.
I'm with you.
That's good.
I'm with you. Who do you think is the priority stud?
Well, I would say if we want to stay on the Yankees, I would say, let's go with Judge, because he just crushes the sinker.
Oh, yeah, Aaron Judge is supposed to return. That's right. He is coming back. That's right. Oh, my gosh, the Yankees are just about to go nuts. It's about to get redonkulous up in here. I'm cool with the Yankees. I think I would probably try to find somebody from Texas, because I think that's where most, they got a 6.3 total, so I think the ownership's going to go there.
What about Chu then?
I'm totally fine with Chu. I think Chu makes a lot of sense leading off there.
Okay.
Is there a value guy, Joe? Because on DraftKings for sure, we're going to need a ton of value to make those two pitchers work. Do you see one on FanDuel?
Well, we have Danny Santana, 2,900.
There you go. I can dig that.
For Texas, Asdrubal Cabrera.
There you go.
Like I said earlier, he profiles amazing against Rodrigo Lopez, so I like him better than Santana. If you wanted to go down a little bit more, thinking only if he hits up top, but Ildemaro Vargas for the D-backs at 2,200. Mm-hmm. If he's hitting up in the order, then he's really good too.
Yeah, I'm with that. Oh man, I guess I would go on DraftKings. We can look at J.P. Crawford batting second, 3,400. There's a couple guys in that same price range. Hopefully we get somebody that opens up even cheaper, but 34 looks like the lowest that I can comfortably get in there at the moment. So I will go with him for now. Top three pitchers, Joe.
Top three pitchers tomorrow, Chris Sale, Trevor Bauer, and Aaron Nola. And just another note on Nola makes you like him even more. He has Lance Barrett, which is the number 3 pitching friendly umpire in the major leagues tomorrow. So that makes Nola even more popular.
Savagery. Straight savagery.
Or more in a better spot. I don't know if he's going to be more.
Yeah, I know what you
mean. I don't know if people follow the umpiring data like we do. So.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I like that call. Nola for sure is in this list. Chris Sale absolutely in this list. And I'm gonna go with Bueller, but I gotta admit Strasburg is intriguing. I'll say that. Top 3 stacks, Joe.
Top 3 stacks tomorrow: Rangers, D-backs, Red Sox.
Yep, let's go Rangers. I will go Rangers. I will go Yankees, and I'll go with the White Sox. Just that game in general. Dong watch, Joe. Who's going deep?
Aaron Judge.
The Judge. I love it. Now I got to take a Yankee too. Let's go with Didi Gregorius.
All right. I'm going to go with Asdrubal Cabrera.
I will go with Willie Calhoun.
And I'm going to go with another Calhoun, Cole Calhoun.
Oh, I like it. Calhoun squared up in this. It's getting competitive right here. Real competitive. Let's go with... Trying to think on this one. Nah, I don't want to do that. We'll go with Sin-Soo Choo. Keep it simple, stupid. How about that? Keep it simple, stupid. Sin-Soo Choo.
We have a couple questions or a question in the chat.
Oh yeah, we got people hanging out with us. Look at that.
Yeah, we got a little bit. Just a little. What? Any love for the GOAT tomorrow?
Hey, you can always play the GOAT. Make no mistake about it. The GOAT is in play every day, whether he's hot or cold.
Especially at its price.
You don't ever need justification playing Franmil, the GOAT, Reyes. Just make that clear. Make that clear. It's a good question, but it wasn't. It's a good question, but you should know this at the same time.
Yeah, let's see. What does he throw? Like, he throws basically fastball, slider. He throws fastball, slider, sinker. So, how does the GOAT hit that? He's got 435 ISO against his fastball. That's good. Yeah. I think that's good. His slider, he has a 253 ISO with a 49% hard contact. That's good too. 2 for 2. And then he throws this sinker 16%, and Reyes has a 304 ISO with that and almost a 40% hard contact. So not only can you always play the GOAT, he also profiles pretty well against Mr.
Musgrove. Not for nothing, but the Padres were pretty hot too. Like, they were hot in Coors, then they went into San Diego and they were still putting up runs. So just saying. Just saying.
It'd be interesting. It's funny, CK. Before we leave, we talk about that. Like, maybe they're the team that's going to be going against like a fairly popular pitcher that we can stack against.
You're right. Musgrove may actually gain some traction just because like people have this perception of the Padres. It's possible. He's 5'5". I wouldn't be surprised if some people take a shot.
Put him with Sale.
I don't want nothing to do with him, but I wouldn't be surprised if people
think about it. 12,000 for Sale, 5'5" for Musgrove.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Get bats in.
It's true. Some people would try that. You're absolutely right. We'll dig on it tomorrow. That's a good point. We'll dig on it tomorrow. Maybe there's a way to go either way. One way or another. But that's going to do it for the Wise Take DFS podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up, that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a like and a share to support the Wise Take Nation. If you're watching on Twitch or Twitter, give us a follow, give us a retweet. And if you're listening to us on Podbean or iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. Nation, real quick, we have another YouTube channel for you guys to subscribe to. It's called Wise Take Clips. So just go in the search box, type Wise Take Clips. Subscribe over there. We're going to be doing clips of various stuff. Just putting out more overall content, media-based content. Not just for DFS, but for sports in general and anything we fucking feel like. So give it a follow so that you don't miss anything we put out over there. Joey, anything in closing before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, it's gonna be a wild Friday night slate. Let's go make some money.
Let's do it.
Join the nation, man. Join the nation.
Stay hot, nation. For Joey, for myself, the entire Wise Take Nation. As always, good luck.
Yes.